Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of December 11th, 2022. But first, a few announcements. For listeners of the podcast, I am offering a special discount on readings, so you can go to my website, astrologybyceleste.com, or the link in the show notes. And the coupon code is podcast10. This special is running through December 15th. Also, I am part of a 2023 predictions panel. So myself and two other astrologers who I love, Sarah L. Harar, that's Astro Auntie, and Tiffany Harelik of Wise Skies Collective, are going to be talking about the transits of 2023 that really excite us and what we think may be to come. And that is going to be on December 21st at noon Pacific time. So check the link in the show notes or head over to astrologybyceleste.com and buy your ticket. It's only a $33 investment. The theme of the week is The Truth Will Set You Free. So there are three big things I want you to think about. First, over the last couple of weeks, as we've been in Sagittarius season, first Mercury, then Venus, and then the Sun all opposed Mars retrograde in Gemini. So Mercury, Venus, and the Sun were all in the sign of Sagittarius. And oppositions have to do with other people. With an opposition, we tend to put the other person with the more outer planet. So when Mercury and Venus oppose Mars retrograde, like someone is doing something martial, maybe a theme that came up for you. Either if it was when Mercury opposed Mars, it could have been a sibling that was the issue, or a car, or like impulsive behavior. These are all things that could have come up, like a dog also is ruled by Mercury. So for one of my clients, their sibling who is irresponsible with money asked them for a loan, and that had not happened for a long time, and that caused some conflict between them. So Mercury rules siblings, and that Mars retrograde was, going back to asking for money after, a period of time for them. Another client had a dog that found them chewing on a poinsettia leaf. So luckily they don't taste good, but they are toxic to dogs. So that was their experience of that transit. Yeah, somebody's car may break down or get, broken into, that sort of thing, or start like making a funny noise could be something that likely happened during that time for some people. And with Venus, when Venus opposed Mars retrograde, it could have been something that came up with a friend. Venus rules relationships of all kinds. So a friend, a lover, a business partner, a spouse, all of these kinds of people. Jewelry, Venus opposite Mars retrograde could have been like your favorite piece of jewelry, or any piece of jewelry like broke or had a problem or got stolen or things like that. Also, clothes or fashion are ruled by Venus. So I'm taping this early because I'm going on vacation, but there's been a lot in the news about Balenciaga, I think is how you pronounce that brand's name, that had this horrific ad campaign where a child had a teddy bear with like bondage and discipline, like a little like harness on. And there were some papers on the table of this ad that had to do with Supreme Court ruling around abuse of children, sexual abuse of children. So, I mean, just horrific. And they are getting a lot of heat. And some of the big stars who like Kim Kardashian and some others are being pressured to take action around this because they are paid by this fashion house. So hopefully by the time this podcast premieres, that has been put to bed and the company has faced consequences for doing something so disturbing. Yeah, well, obviously they're getting a lot of heat, but I think, people will sever the relationships. Mars severs, Mars cuts. So we'll see if any big stars sever their relationship with that company. The sun rules authorities, heads of states, things like that. We'll see. Sun opposite Mars retrograde. Did any leader resign? As I'm taping this, there's calls for President Xi to resign from China. I doubt it's going to be him. They have so much power and authority in order to quelch uprisings, but your boss may resign or something like that. Somebody's boss is getting fired if your chart is activated by this transit. So things like that you can see coming up in the collective. And if you recall, 2 weeks ago, I thought when Mars was opposite Mercury or before the full moon that Donald Trump may have been indicted. So I'm recording this right after the Mercury opposite Mars. And so he was not indicted today, but he's been in the news quite a bit, Donald Trump. So number one, the Oath Keepers on the day of this transit, the head Oath Keeper and one of his subordinates. These were two people who are very active and planning to try to keep Donald Trump in power and leading up to the January 6th insurrection. And they did a lot of stuff, left a paper trail. And so they were convicted by a jury of seditious conspiracy and are facing up to 20 years in prison for trying to overthrow the United States government to keep Donald Trump in power. So that was one of the things that came up. A verdict, communication, Mercury, opposite Mars retrograde about these two men in Gemini. Gemini does things into two men whose actions were against the government and illegal. So that's a story around one of those transits. Also, Trump had a meeting with Kanye West and another anti-Semitic person who's considered an alt-righter, white supremacist. I forget his name. Anyway, they went to Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's golf course, and had dinner with him. Kanye West has been come up under a lot of heat for his anti-Semitic comments. This other guy made some horrific comments about Jewish people and is just a horrible person in general. And so Donald Trump has been getting a lot of heat about this, not just from Republican leaders on the day of Mercury opposite Mars retrograde. Mitch McConnell, the head of the Senate, said he didn't think Donald Trump would be electable again after having this dinner. Even Mike Pence, who barely said anything, even though, he could have been murdered on January 6th, did come out and say that this was inappropriate. Several Republican leaders, as well as Jewish faith leaders who supported Trump, are now severing their relationship with him because of him having dinner with these people. Yeah, so that's what we're seeing in the collective. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a congressperson. I cannot believe people elected this person to Congress. She says outrageous things. She's the QAnon congressperson is what she's referred to because she believes in all kinds of conspiracy theories. She has a sun opposite Neptune in her natal chart. When she was born, the sun was opposite Neptune. So she's a Gemini sun. And Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and her south node is at 19 degrees of Gemini. And on the day of the Mars opposite Mercury, which fell, Mars is on her south node, Mercury on her north node. Another really right-wing activist named Lara Loomer, I believe is her name, accused Marjorie Taylor Greene about trying to sabotage Donald Trump On the day this happened, the sun was squaring Marjorie Taylor Greene's Neptune, and she has sun opposite Neptune in her natal chart. So when the sky reflects our chart with the planets mimicking our aspects, this can be a time when something comes into our life. So this Lara Loomer accused Marjorie Taylor Greene of trying to sabotage Donald Trump's run for president in order to favor Ron DeSantis, because it's so complicated. Kanye West, his campaign manager, used to work for Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Marjorie Taylor Greene had to come out and say something about denying that she was trying to sabotage Trump by having these totally inappropriate people go have dinner with him. So those are 3 stories that came out on the day I thought Trump might have been indicted. He still could be. We'll see. Anyway, that's a story about all those planets clearing Mars retrograde. And now remember, though, that there's still like this wild, chaotic energy, but this week should be a lot tamer than the last couple. And the wild, chaotic energy is Mars retrograde, Venus, Mercury, and the moon as we start this week are all out of bounds, out of the declination of the sun. So the sun is not having a calming influence on them. So people may still be saying wild things and doing wild things during the week. The next thing I want you to be aware of is that the sun is making a square with Neptune in Pisces. So the sun in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces, both of them at 22 degrees this week on Wednesday. So Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions. It's the fog. It's the mist. Think about how when you walk through fog, you cannot see. So topics that are often associated with Neptune are confusion, escapism, deception, and disillusionment. So see if you see people in the collective in your own life dealing with these kinds of things this week. But once we pass the square, get a couple days past the square, the fog will clear and things will be revealed to people. Like the rose-colored glasses come off and you see things as they really are. So other topics Neptune rules is dreams, drugs, alcohol, and illicit drugs. So there could be something about drug policy. Sun, the authority, square Neptune. Yeah. Chemicals, oil. There could be news about oil. Neptune rules inflation. So yeah, we'll see what oil prices are doing. It's also glamour. It's endings like resignations. Is also Neptune. Neptune can, it dissolves things. There could be some scandals. It rules visions. So people talking about visions. If anybody sees Jesus and a banana or something like that, that could be a story around this day. There's also like a surrender and sacrifice are topics around Neptune. And in the tarot deck, the hanged one, the hanged man or hanged woman or hanged one is the card that is ruled by Neptune in astrology. Also could be a con artist is revealed. So look to stories about deception. There's all sorts of stuff going on around these cryptocurrency companies, going up in smoke. It all seemed very Neptunian to begin with. Yeah. Also storms. A lot of times when Neptune is activated, there can be big storms. As I'm recording this, we're coming up to Neptune stationing. There's all sorts of weather in the US. There's avalanches going on. And yeah, there could be a lot of weather stuff going on with this as well. So just stay tuned and see what becomes clear later on this week. What was foggy or hazy beforehand. Remember, it's like the Vaseline on the mirror. And the last thing I want you to be aware of is we're going to have a last quarter moon at 24 degrees of Virgo on Friday. So I love Virgo moon energy where it's the chop wood, carry water kind of energy. And it's a great time, like decluttering is a wonderful thing to do when the moon is in Virgo, thinking about your health and how to improve it and thinking about what you want to remove. Virgo is very precise. So think about separating the wheat from the chaff, taking what the good parts are and leaving the bad parts behind or what's not needed behind. So yeah, you can think about that. Watch out for being critical with Virgo energy. Yeah, it can be very just pointed and critical or trying to control others. But the sun in Sagittarius square the moon in Virgo really feels like the truth coming out. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which rules the truth. Virgo has the information. It's precise. It's the receipts. Virgos like to count, so be accountable. Somebody may be called to be accountable. Yeah. So of this cycle, the new moon of this cycle was September 17th, 2020 at 25 degrees of Virgo. The sun and the moon were both at that degree. So think back to then, especially if you have planets around 20 to 30 in the mutable signs of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces. There may be a story. Look back in your journals. 9 months later, there was a first quarter moon, which activated your chart in the same area at the same degree approximately, which was 27 degrees. So the sun was at 27 Gemini, the moon at 27 Virgo in a first quarter square on June 17th, 2021. So see if there's a story that progresses that reflects back to the new moon. Yeah, and then the full moon where all was revealed was this March 18th, 2022 at 27 degrees of Virgo, and the sun was at 27 Pisces. So you may see a story from there that now is kind of getting ready to get wrapped up. Sometimes, like to the date, you'll see something happens around the story, but give a week or two on either side and see if you can tie it together based on what houses in your chart is being activated, as well as Virgo topics. So this week could be pretty lovely for a lot of people, but for some people it will be devastating if you find out your partner's been cheating or like you get laid off or things like that can be happening. But in general, the energy is nice. And on Sunday, the word of the day is playful. We start the week with the moon in the watery sign of Cancer, but at 12:08 p.m. Pacific time, the moon moves into Leo. So see if you notice a difference from that watery Cancer energy to Leo, the fire, the fun, the fabulous Leo energy. So it's a great time to notice, do you feel this shift where, somebody says, let's go out and do something fun. Yeah, that could be something that happens when the moon shifts from water to fire. So have some fun this evening, especially after the moon goes into Leo. And this disseminating moon phase will be at 5 Leo at 10:40 p.m. So the next couple of days is a great time to share any new things you've learned, to discuss with others, to learn new things from other people. That's a great thing to do over the next couple of days as the moon is in the disseminating phase where it's shedding light and you're shedding your knowledge with other people and gaining theirs. On Monday, the word of the day is fruitful. So the moon is still in Leo, and you may find at work people are just more upbeat, or maybe someone's just trying to be more attention seeking or things like that. But hopefully you're having a nice day. And on this day, the sun in Sagittarius, this beautiful fire energy, is in a sextile with Saturn in Aquarius. So sextiles are opportunities. If there's something you want from your boss, the sun rules authority figures. This could be a good day to ask for it, and they just may say yes, even if they would normally say no. So keep that in mind. Ask your parents for something. That's another authority figure. Or anyone Saturnian in your life may be more likely and open to helping you out. So this day may bear fruit. On Tuesday, the word of the day is brainstorm. This is a day for creative thinking. The moon in Leo is very creative. Sagittarius sun is inspiring. And there are a bunch of quintiles on this day. Quintiles are grace notes. They're these soft aspects of either 72 degrees as the quintile and 144 degrees as the biquintile, where you can synthesize differing energies well. So Mercury's quintile Neptune That can be really creative thinking. Mercury is in Capricorn, so you can have that earth energy with the watery of Neptune, come up with great ideas that you can manifest in the real world. On Wednesday, the word of the day is truth. The moon will enter the sign of Virgo at 12:45 a.m. Pacific time. This is a great time to get your mundane tasks done. The chop wood, carry water, just do them. I love Virgo moon energy. I get so much done. You can have pleasure from organizing or cleaning or paying bills or just like doing those Excel spreadsheets. Yes, but this is the day that the sun squares Neptune. The sun at 22 Sagittarius, Neptune at 22 Pisces. This can be a day the truth comes out. It could be a great truth that like, I finally know that. Yeah. The mystery is solved. It could be devastating for some people. You find out someone has done you wrong, done you dirty, stolen from, like impersonating you online. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, there are constantly these people pretending to be me on Instagram and trying to get money out of people. This con artist can be revealed on this day. On Thursday, the word of the day is busted. Mercury, the planet of communication, will be trine the North Node in Taurus. So Mercury in Capricorn, North Node in Taurus. I feel like someone's getting called into the principal's office on this day because Mercury is also King Kunk's Mars retrograde in Gemini. Getting busted for your wrong actions will be what happens for some people, and this is going to have an impact on their life with the North Node of Fate being involved in terms of, you get written up for something or written up at work. Yeah, could be that as well. So right actions all week is really the best way forward so that you don't get busted doing something you shouldn't be doing. Other people can just meet someone or have a great conversation with someone or come up with an idea that helps pull them forward with Mercury trining the North Node. But don't impulsively do anything because that King Kunks to Mars, King Kunks is move us into new situations where we have to release something. So that can be a difficult thing. On Friday, the word of the day is learnings. This is the day of the last quarter moon. It happens at 12:55 a.m. Pacific time at 24 Virgos. Last quarter moons are times to think about lessons learned. What knowledge have you gained over the last 27 months of the lunation cycle, the Lunar Phase Family? Look back at those dates in your calendar and see what story has something been revealed, and it may still be coming, but take some time to consider it. The moon will move into the air sign of Libra, 11:49 a.m. Pacific time. Today is Venus's day. The moon is reporting into Venus in Capricorn. So this is a great day to have lunch with a colleague. Yeah, wonderful to collaborate and come up with some new ideas. On Saturday, the word of the day is unconventional. Mercury in Capricorn will trine Uranus in Taurus. And this is a great day to maybe like try something different. The word is unconventional. Like maybe make a new recipe or something like that. This could be really interesting. Consider making something different. Now, Mercury trine Uranus. This could also bring something with the war in Ukraine because it started when Mercury was in a square with Uranus. Hopefully nothing too awful happens. Hopefully Putin doesn't use unconventional weapons. Oh my God, let's hope not. I just realized that both Mercury and Uranus are at 15 degrees. So 15 degrees of the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are world points where something that happens could get a lot of attention. So something is likely going to get a lot of attention that has a Mercury trine Uranus flavor around Saturday or around this week, or around this day. That could be like the big news, this transit. Goodness. Hopefully it's not something like a huge traffic accident or plane crash or something like that. Yeah, maybe there's some rocket that's out in space will come land perfectly, and that will be the signature of it. But it might not be something great because on this day, Mars in Gemini is quincunx the South Node, the cosmic drain that moves us into new situations. Quincunxes do, and the South Node's in Scorpio. Yeah, it could be like yucky stuff in Ukraine or China or Iran around the protests in Iran and protests in China may still be going on at this time, and there may be ugly news. But let's hope not. Yeah, hate to leave you on a note like that, but yeah, something's likely to happen that gets attention on Friday, Saturday. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at Celeste@astrologybyceleste with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.